In this video, I will show you how to create and deploy a landing page with no code using bolt.new, and we'll integrate it with a contact form I built with no code in another video. Bolt.new lets you create full-stack apps with simple prompts. But with the free version, you'll run out of credits fast. And even with their cheapest plan at $20 a month, you will only be able to build 2 to 3 small apps before hitting the limits. Therefore, I found something better, a fork that unlocks way more possibilities. Instead of being stuck with Anthropic, you can now use DeepSeek Coder, which is not just cheaper but super capable. Or go with OpenAI, Anthropic, Llama, OpenRouter, Gemini, or even Grok, whatever works for you. To get started, you've got 2 options. 1. Fork the repo and follow the instructions. Or 2. Deploy it on CloudStation like I do, where you only pay for what you use and you can post services anytime. In this tutorial, I'll show you 1. How to create the landing page structure. 2. We will integrate it with our no-code contact form. And 3. We will deploy it all to a public domain. Ready to build this with what Call Now calls AutoDev? Let's do this. To get started, head over to cloudstation.io and click on the Get Started for Free button. Then you want to sign in or sign up with your account. I'm going to continue with my GitHub account. Then you can create a new project in your workspace. Do that. So I'm going to call it bolt.new. Next, click on Templates. And then look for bolt.new and click on it. In here, you can add your API keys if you want to do it from here, or you can also add them from the UI. So I'm gonna add Anthropic and DeepSeek for now, and then I will be back. All right, so I have added my API keys in here. Now save your changes, and then you can choose, depending on your plan, you can choose where you want to deploy it. For now, I'm just gonna click on deploy, and it's gonna start deploying. It's gonna take a few minutes to deploy. And once it's done, you're gonna receive a notification either by email or you're gonna receive it in here as well.
A few moments later.
Once your application is deployed, click on Open App and you will have access to your self-hosted bolt.new. All right, and you can see here that the difference is we have access to more models than just Anthropic, and you can choose also which version you want to use. So in this case, I'm gonna use Anthropic with 3.5 Sonnet, and I have some prompts that I have prepared to create a landing page for an automation agency with a contact form I created in the video in the description that is also with no code. So I'm just gonna copy the prompt. You can have it if you want in the description. So it's basically create a professional landing page for a Streamhive, an automation agency with the following sections. So I want a hero section, a workflow showcase featuring some of my workflow automations, a tutorial with an embedded video demonstration, features and benefits, and the contact form, plus a call to actions that it's gonna be throughout the page. So I'm just gonna click on here and it's gonna start building my app. You can see that is really fast, and because I didn't specify any programming language, it's chose Vite by default, so I'm good with that, so that's why I didn't change it. Alright, and it's done. I have all the sections that I have asked it to do with the contact form. So now that the structure is done, I want it to do some modifications for me. For example, I want this section to change to use some of the screenshots from my workflows. So I have hosted the images on GitHub, which is a very good option. If you don't have any other idea on where to host it, you can just host it on GitHub. It's free and it's a pretty good hack. So I'm gonna go and grab my images from the GitHub repo. So to get them, I'm gonna open image in new tab, and I'm gonna do the same for each and every one of them. All right, and I'm gonna go back to Bolt and ask it to add this. So basically just asking it to update this section with the titles that I gave it and the descriptions. And also I said that the images are hosted on GitHub, and I'm gonna pass the URLs for each of the images. I'm not even gonna specify what image does what. All right, then I'm gonna click again. And it's already done, and my images are here, which is just perfect. I'm gonna ask it to add a link to the videos, add a watch tutorial link that will redirect to to YouTube, and for the C Stream Hive in action, put this video. Alright, we have the link there. Now let's add a button under each of the workflows. Alright, this is perfect. So I have links for each of the videos, and I'm guessing this one is gonna work later once I deploy it. Alright, now it's time for the form. So I have already prepared this form in another video. I'm just gonna go ahead and find it. I used NoCodeDB, which creates a REST API for each table that you create, and you can watch the full video in the description. You will see how I created the form and also how I automated the responses each time someone clicks on the form. I'm just gonna access the Swagger API from here. Alright, so I want to use this Post API. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this from the status. Okay. I'm gonna try it just to get the curl, and I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna go back to Bolt and say I have created a form. Here is the curl. Update the form to use it. Add a .env file to store the link and the token. All right, starting already. So I'm gonna go get the token from my NoCodeDB instance. So just go to setting and then tokens, and I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna paste it, and I'm gonna go. All right, so I passed my token in the .env file, and let's try it. And I want to automate some. All right, okay, it needs to be valid, and it's submitted. I'm gonna go and check if it actually worked in my NoCodeDB. All right, I can see it actually did work, and here's the message I sent. And if I actually open my Gmail, I should have received some emails, and if you want to see how those emails have been sent, check out my video in the description. So here's the transactional email, and if I go back, all right, you can see here that we got a personalized email. If you want to see how this is done, you can check out the video in the description as well. Okay, so now we know that our form actually works, and it's actually ready to deploy. So to do that, I'm gonna ask it to add a git ignore file. And one other thing, I want to ask it to add a start command, because to deploy the app, I need to have a start command. Add a start command to package.json and add that git ignore. All right, I'm not going to specify what to put in the git ignore, because I'm hoping it's going to do it for me. And yes, it did. So I'm not gonna worry about it. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to deploy this website. So I can deploy this website, but let's ask it to make some small changes with another model, just so you can see that we don't have to use the Anthropic 3.5 for everything, because it's the most expensive one. So for example, I wanted to change the contact this section. I can do that. So I'm gonna update it to use DeepSeek. I already put my DeepSeek info in environment variable, so it's already there. Update. So I have a Twitter account, so I'm gonna go and grab it. And you can see here that DeepSeek is taking over and finishing our application. All right, and let's check it out. And you can see here that it's updated with the right info, with my YouTube link, GitHub, and the rest. I'm satisfied enough with this. So next step, let's deploy it. So we can do it. You can either download the code and do it manually, or you can push it to GitHub, and that way you can have the automatic CI/CD which means if you change something, it's gonna redeploy the application automatically. So I'm gonna do that. So if you want to push to GitHub, you need to create a GitHub token. So go ahead and go to github.com and then click on your profile and go to setting, and then click on developer setting, and then click on personal access token. You can either use fine grain token or classic tokens. I'm just going to create a classic token for now. Just generate a new classic token. You have to reconnect to your GitHub account, and I'm just going to call it bolt. Let's say full right. That's it for now. I'm gonna see. Then you go to push to GitHub and then name your project something. So I'm gonna name it Streamhive, and then get your username. So it's whatever username you have is. My name is Omnia, so I'm gonna get it. And then your access token. It's gonna take a few seconds. All right, and it is pushed. Let's copy it. All right, so it's public, and I have lost something. So first I'm gonna go to settings, and I am going to change the visibility to private. It shouldn't have pushed the .in file. It must be an issue here. That's okay. Now that it's private, I'm gonna go back to CloudStation, and in the same repo or any other workspace, you can just click on Add New, Git Repo, and then choose your GitHub account. Find the project you just pushed. All right, so it's called Streamhive, and then import it. And then we need to add some environment variables. So because I put my API token and API URL, so I'm just gonna copy them from here, and I'm gonna go back to CloudStation, and I'm gonna add them here. All right, so I'm gonna change the API token with the real API token. I just copy it and then paste it right here and update, and then click on deploy.
A few moments later.
And you can see that the app is deployed and is healthy. We can click on it to see it. All right, and we can see here that the iframe is fully working. And we can go ahead and test out the form. I'm just gonna go ahead and put another website to check that all the workflows are working just correctly. And I'm gonna go and check out the email. And I've just received the first email. The second email is gonna be there in a few seconds. Okay, so the form is working correctly, and it's triggering the workflows automatically. And we can see here that the links that I added, or DeepSeek added later, are also working. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the results. They're just these little pictures that are not centered. I'm gonna try to center them. All right, so I'm gonna stay with DeepSeek Coder, and I'm gonna ask it to center them. Same as before, it's starting from where it stopped. This is perfect. So I can see here that it changed this file, so I'm just gonna copy it, and I'm gonna go to my GitHub projects. All right, and click on here. I'm gonna go to source, and then components, and then features.jsx, and then I'm just gonna replace the whole thing. All right, I'm gonna commit. Let's call it centered pictures, and I'm gonna save. and it's gonna restart the deployment of our project. You can see here that it's picked up that we changed it, and it's gonna deploy it. So for right now, bolt.new doesn't have the possibility to actually push directly from here. If I do this again, it's gonna push to another whole repository, which I don't want. But other than that, this is pretty actually awesome. And you can see that this video, even though it doesn't work here, it does work when in the deployed version just perfectly. It's gonna give it a few minutes to build the new changes. And while it's deploying, the previous allocation is still there. So my app is still running, no issues. And it's gonna stay running until this one is done. Right, and our new version should be deployed. And check this out, our pictures are now fully centered. Check if the menu works. The menu is working. This is perfect. Before we wrap up, I want to give a huge shout out to Cole and the team behind Autodev for creating such an amazing open source platform that makes development accessible to everyone. If you haven't watched my tutorial on setting up the contact form we used today, you can check it out right here. And if you enjoyed this tutorial and want to see more content about open source tools like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Drop a comment below if you have any questions about the setup process or if you'd like to see tutorials on other aspects of Autodev. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.